So thanks for being here. As Nick said, we've been doing this publishing summit for a long time. It's sort of how the company started, and so it's great to see how much it's grown. It's going to be a great next 3 days. So a couple things I want to do. I want to run through sort of 5 big trends that I'm seeing in publishing right now, and that we thought of when we were putting together the content. And we'll see what comes out, from all the discussions that we had in town hall. Some of them matched up, some of them didn't. But then we also want to do the challenge board, and this is a very important part of the event because we want to move people from being attendees to participants. That's why we keep these events, still not extremely large, because we want people to connect, but we also want people to participate. So I'm going to be asking everyone to submit their own challenges. But before we do that, I want to get to just 5 big sort of things. And one is we're seeing in publishing right now is experience matters. We do a podcast every week, which you should all listen to if you don't already. And the other week, I was talking with Shailesh Prakash, who is the CIO at the Washington Post. And we were talking about why publishers need to have a product mindset. And basically what Shailesh's point of view on this was that it wasn't enough just to create good content, and that it was all about the experience, and that when they were creating the national news app for the Washington Post, he was thinking, well, 3-second load would be fine, and Jeff Bezos is like, no, you got to go into milliseconds, and that Bezos has really emphasized that they all have to have product mindset, and that means bringing together product team, revenue team, content teams together instead of it being sort of separated out. And that sort of leads to the other thing, is that making money shouldn't mean sacrificing the experience. One of the discussions that we had in the town hall was about just this, and that there is this sort of frustration in that the things that publishers have to do now to make money are in many ways inimical to a good experience. There's going to be, I think, a fair bit of talk about ad blocking, and ad blocking is a symptom. It's not a disease, and I think it's a symptom of the fact that too many publisher sites are too slow. And there was frustration in the town hall about a lot of the programmatic technologies and a lot of middlemen who were slowing it down with unnecessary JavaScript. And so I think for publishers now, and what we're seeing with platforms asking for publishers to put content on their sites, is that you can't sacrifice experience. And I think anyone who thinks that ad blocking is just going to sort of go away or be the sort of Y2K of publishing, I don't think that's going to be the case. The cable companies were saying that about cord cutting for many years, and then all of a sudden, they're in deep trouble. So I don't think it's a very good thing to ignore. The next thing, and related, was that it's a platform world and publishers are living in it. This was another thing that came up during the town hall. And that was basically, in essence, that the power between distribution and content always waxes and wanes. But at this point, the distributors, which are the platforms, have an enormous upper hand. And no one, I think one of the things that was brought up was that no one quite knows what their end game is. And there are probably many end games within these gigantic organizations. But for publishers, figuring out how they're going to play in the platform world is incredibly important. I think it's going to come up again and again. And the related thing is that the mobile shift is perhaps as big as the shift to the internet. This was something about a year ago. Jimmy Mayman, I guess he was then running Huffington Post, but now he has an even bigger job at AOL. He had said to me, and I was like, oh, you really think? And he was like, yeah, because if the dislocation that publishing felt when they shifted from the analog to the internet era, it's going to be even greater shifting to mobile. And so hopefully during the next 3 days, we're going to have a lot of conversations about how to manage that shift because it's very big. And the final thing is, focus has never been more important. I was struck in the last couple weeks by a couple of things. One was when Bloomberg's editor-in-chief came out with a big memo in which he said Bloomberg can't do everything because the internet sort of, because it's premised on scale, it has forced publishing it's forced publishers to do everything to get scale, and so they try to be everything to everyone. And so even for a gigantic entity like Bloomberg, they have to focus on telling their core story, which is about capitalism. And he said it's not about sports and it's not about education. And there was another one. It was like the Weather Channel came out. I know we have someone from Weather here. That they're actually going to get back to talking about the weather, which makes sense. Sort of some of the stuff you guys were doing was a little out there, but I think everyone needs to focus because there's a lot of everything out there, and focus is more important than ever. So that's what I have. I would now like to invite you to, in the back we have a couple tables, and they have on it some what look like Post-it notes, but they're actually magnets. And we have 2 challenge boards, which are sponsored by Criteo or Criteo, if you're from Europe. And what I want you to do is I want you to write down one, or if you have 2, please just use 2 different magnets. Write down a challenge that you're facing. It's all anonymous. You don't have to sign it. Please don't sign it. And put them up on the board. And what we're going to do then is we're going to group them together, and they're going to help inform the conversation over the next several days. So we're going to play the challenge board music, and then I'm going to ask you all to get up, go to the back, grab a magnet, write on it, and stick it up on the board. Use the publisher's board if you're a publisher, and the tech provider's board if you are a tech provider. So please, to the back. What? You're writing? You got a question? So it's your biggest challenge. Eric asked. He's not paying attention, clearly. Yeah, we're working on that. I mean, I have a sweater on. What do you think? And I'm in the light. I was wondering if I was nervous. Now I know, it's just hot. Okay, we're starting to get quite not a lot of tech provider challenges. I saw a lot of tech providers by the bar. Okay. last chance for challenges. Still have a couple more going up. Okay. Okay, if you're done with your challenges, if you could, please take your seat. You want to stay on time. Have a cocktail party later. Want it to start on time. Okay, I think that's it. I think we've. If new challenges do arise, they hit you tonight. Maybe you're out somewhere having a drink and a challenge hits you. There'll be more magnets around and you can add to them. But this will be helpful. You'll see how this plays into both our town hall tomorrow and also a lot of the conversations that we're going to be having up here. I know, moderating several of them myself, I plan on dipping into the challenge board to see what's top of mind for people. So thank you for contributing. And there's more contributions that we're going to ask you for. There is a challenge bar outside, which is sponsored by Criteo, and we're going to ask that you swing by there and submit a challenge related to innovation and opportunity is the theme. And there will be a prize awarded for submitting that. So please do visit the Criteo challenge bar outside. And now I want to introduce our executive editor, Brian Breaker. He is going to be our host over the next 3 days, so we've seen a lot of him, and he is going to kick off the day. Brian.